Okay. Looks like the right time for having a very nice webinar. Anyway, thank you all for joining the call. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The sound should be on.
Yeah, sound is on.
Oh, fantastic. I'm just using a different headset, so I may occasionally click some button that will turn the sound off, but I will try not to. So, okay. Today we are going to talk about self-services, what is the technology, and how to make it perfect for your employees. Okay, there we go. So first of all, this is myself. I'm not sharing the camera, so you can at least see who is speaking on the other side of the phone, screen, or computer, whatever. I'm Alexei. I have been with Lanteria for 9 years, actually, since April 2013, right? So what I do is most of my working time, I tell the people what the software does and what it does not do. Right, so there we go. A few words about the company that I work for. So first of all, the company has more than 16 years of experience in the area of the HR technology. The company was founded in spring 2006, right? Since then, we have had 250 middle to large clients. Let me explain, please. We mostly work with the middle plus organizations, so we don't have small customers. That's why we, as a company, never expected to have thousands of clients. Probably we maybe don't have the resource to serve all those clients, but all our clients are comparatively large organizations for whom we do complete implementations, maintenance, for somebody custom development. So those 250 companies are all comparatively large projects. 40 plus countries. We are operating in more than 40 countries. I mean, we don't have so many offices. No, mostly we have 3 main locations in Linteria, which is in America, Europe, and Australia. But our customers are from more than 40 countries. And if talking about the customers who are active at the moment, then we can say that more than 200,000 employees are using the system. By the way, you can see some examples of the customers to the left, like Lufthansa, Warner Brothers, Lockheed Martin, Sega. Right, so let's go further. So yes, the main topics I wanted to share you during today's call would be the self-service technology as it is in 2022, the employees' improved experience, how this technology works in Lanteria, and what our customers say and how they benefit from using the self-services. What is so much specific about this webinar is that I tried to, while preparing, I tried to recall many discussions with my clients. I tried to recall many different situations. So this is not something based on what I've read in Google, but rather what I can remember from my life in Linteria and my life with this HR system. So this is purely based on my experience. So there we go. First of all, what is a self-service? In the HR management system, the self-service is a kind of a portal of a user where that user completes the HR related tasks. Actually, not only the HR related tasks, the employees can manage the personal timesheets, the employees can request something, the employees can acknowledge they have read some security policies, and so on and so forth. But anyway, that's a personal portal of the employee. Depending on which role you perform in the company, that may be the HR manager, team manager, employee, there may be different types of such portals. Most of the vendors offer those types of the portals like HR, manager, employee, but many software solutions also can offer you to customize the portals. I mean, you may have some very, very specific type of a user not available out of the box, but the software may allow you to customize or create a new type of a portal. So let's go further. Why a self-service is important? Well, first of all, I would like to say is that before I start talking about all those components of the importance of the self-service, I must say that it is important that the self-service exists. Well, I mean, I've heard that some companies use the HR systems only for the admins, and that is maybe fair enough for some businesses. But in general, the main condition that I see is that the self-service must be there. And after that, I would like to share you what are the critical benefits of having it. So first of all, history of all requests is tracked. For example, some team manager requested 2 new job openings into his or her department. And then the HR received that request. Then there was some communication. Then maybe some of those 2 people left the company, for example, the team manager or the HR manager. And we need to track what was happening, what was agreed, how that new job opening was discussed. So that history must be tracked inside of the system. And that's why the self-service is important, because as a manager of the team, I use my self-service for requesting anything that I need, or at least anything in my competence, like, I don't know, new job openings in my department, maybe a new laptop for a new employee in my team, and so on and so forth. Simplified communication and announcements. The HR system may have its own communication tool inside of it, where you can ask for some assistance. For example, your computer doesn't work properly, and you would like to immediately request some assistance. And by the way, later you also need to save the communication somewhere. For example, when the request was sent, how it was resolved, how fast, were you happy with that, and so on. So all this communication is tracked, and the self-service gives you the chance to initiate such a communication. Announcements. Also, let's imagine that tomorrow there will be no electricity in our business center because of some repairs, and the HR manager must be able to quickly announce that people should be notified through the email boxes, or maybe directly in their self-services, or both. But anyway, such communication is also done through the self-services. Reminders are fully automated. Whatever happens, maybe you have a certificate that expires next week, or maybe you have a performance review cycle that should happen in the next months, anything like that. The system has reminders and notifications which are sent automatically based on some logic. For example, before your work permission expires, the system will be sending you the reminder to get a new work permission, maybe 7 days before the actual expiry, something like that. Fast access to employees' availability. That is important, especially after all this pandemic started, unfortunately. Some companies shifted to, from office work to some kind of mixture of office work and remote work, or purely remote work, for example. So using the self-service, employee can very easily request, for example, work from home. I know that in some countries, this is very much like kind of tradition that people must have that possibility to request the work pattern called work from home. And they do that using the self-services, and the HR manager can, or team manager can quickly see who is available, who is not, who is working from the office, who is working from home, who is on sickness, who is on a business trip, and the self-service plays a great role in that. 100% environment-friendly approach. I think that this is just a kind of nice thing to have, because we all should value the nature, and because all the communication happens online, you don't waste any paper, you don't print anything. You also can use DocuSign, or maybe some other online signatures component integrated into the software. And that means that nothing has to be on paper. You can shift everything online. So it's saving us our nature and our trees. Right, let's go further. So does every employee need a self-service? I have touched this couple minutes ago, but I would like to repeat. I know that there are companies that use the HR systems only for their administrators. For example, I remember we had a few customers like that. Again, that approach is fair enough. Maybe from business to business, companies may have different logic. So there are cases when the HR is the only person who needs the access to the system. They register some employees in there, but those people never ever access their self-services. Maybe that's a fair approach, but I personally think that in the times when we have smartphones, every employee must have a self-service because it is very convenient to request sickness, even if you are a field employee, you never visit the office. Maybe you work on a ship or you work on a airplane, so you don't work with the computer, right? But still you will be requesting some sicknesses, business trips, attaching some work permissions, some other documents, certificates, vaccination documentation, anything like that. And you can use your self-service on the mobile phone for doing that. So self-services are quite well recommended because I can imagine, of course, every time sending a direct email message to my manager to ask for 1 day of sickness or a couple days of sickness, but it's all more convenient and it's much more easily trackable if you use your self-service for requesting anything like that. Okay, so let's go further. Self-service technology in 2022, how is it different? There we go. So first of all, I thought about the most important criteria, at least I have been able to recall, and let me tell you about them. Automation. The automation is great. Whatever you launch using the HR system, people who are assigned to certain tasks will be automatically notified. For example, let's talk about the onboarding. So you have customized some onboarding process using the system. I mean, you as the HR administrator. And then there are people like, there is a person in charge of, providing the laptop. Somebody else must provide a uniform. Somebody else must read an instructional training for your employee, for the new employee, for the starter. That's exactly when the self-service is important because I, as a person responsible for something, imagine that I have to provide a laptop and a uniform for the new joiner. I will be notified through my self-service, through my email box as well. I will be able to see what is required, what is the deadline. I will be able to complete that through my self-service. So this automation, when you first set up the process, and then the system is smart enough to automatically assign responsible people, notify them through their self-services based on their job roles. This is just great. So automation is very important. Analysis. Employees will be using their self-services. They will be, for example, filling in their timesheets, and you as the team manager will be able to understand their involvement into work. So you will be able to see how much time is spent for billable, non-billable activities, lunch breaks, and anything else. But anyway, the self-service allows to analyze the involvement of the employee into work much better. Communication, the self-service may have, and I would say that it should have the inbuilt tools for the fast communication, announcements, requesting for help, assistance, whatever. So for example, we will talk about that in a few minutes when I'll be showing you the Lanteria HR software as an example. But we've got a tool called HR Help Desk, and that help desk allows to request for immediate help, to track the history of communication, what happened, who was responsible, and so on and so forth. So that is also important. Control, again, this is somehow related to the analysis, and you will be able, I would say that probably most of the softwares, most of the vendors may offer you this functionality. You will be able to analyze the like how much time your employees, your subordinates, your team members spend using the system, completing their tasks, and so on. I think if not all, but many HR systems will allow you to have some specific reports to see, like, For example, today this employee has spent in total 1 hour in the HR system, what that may be. The employee was working with the timesheets that long. This is not directly related to the timesheets. Let me please explain. If in the analysis I told you the example of the timesheets where the person has a kind of roster or list, and the person fills activities that he or she has been working on, then in the control, you see a report where the system shows you which buttons were clicked, which actions were performed in the HR system, and so on and so forth. So that tool will help you to see how actively the people are using the self-service and the HR system. And this will help you to encourage them to use it more actively. Right. We will also talk about that when we're talking about Lanteria. Okay, so employees improved experience. What is important? By the way, I would like to say that when I started my first sales position in another company many years ago, I had some pain points, and what I would like to stress right now, the usage of the self-service by the employee, by myself, it should not be painful. So I know that probably the HR person, or maybe the IT person who is very skilled with large databases and so on. Maybe such people need thousands of buttons in the interface, but employees normally don't. And I remember that many years ago, I was using a kind of system which was called back office or something like that. And it had so many unnecessary buttons and not the best in the world interface. So let me please tell you what I think is important for the employee, so that the employee could feel that the self-service is really effective and user-friendly. There we go. Simplicity, auto help, support, opinion sharing, and mobile app. Simplicity, the navigation must be simple and intuitive. I, for example, really don't like when I've got one major button, let's say, I don't know, core data or something like that. And then when I click it, I see 100 more buttons where I have to search by the alphabet, like, I don't know, absences, business trips. And if I need to perform some action, I have to scroll down and down and down and down. That's really horrible. It should be intuitive. I mean, the interface. The interface should be divided to different areas where I could guess that probably this function is located there and that function is located there. Of course, it's always, I don't know, different people may have different opinions about what the ideal interface is, but probably there are some best practices, and it is possible to make more or less standardized interface with a good user experience. So the self-service must be simple. First of all, people don't have to spend 30 minutes trying to find some button. Auto help, chatbot. This is important. We inside of Linteria HR, we have both options. But first of all, the auto help is a page inbuilt in the system or elsewhere, better, of course, inbuilt in the system, where the employee could ask any combination of words and get a response. For example, how to start a performance review, or how do I register my absence, or how do I request one more sales manager into my team, or something like that. So system should have a place where it could find, based on some matching or keywords, the right advices or articles which the user could read and understand how to use the system. Or it can be a chatbot. Like I would say that's a very simplified version of the auto help, some inbuilt communication tool where you send some questions to the artificial intelligence, and that artificial intelligence sends you some responses. Support. So it is very important that the people can request some support. For example, the air conditioner doesn't work well in my room, and I would like to ask for some specialist to be assigned to this issue and fix the air conditioner as soon as possible. So it is important that people can request for support. Opinion sharing, I personally find it very useful. For me, the opinion sharing makes me feel important for the company. For example, we've got a number of trainings, and after the trainings, we get the questionnaires where we can provide our opinion. Are the trainings useful? What we would like to recommend, and so on and so forth. It can be more than just trainings. It can be, for example, opinion about company culture or something like that. Of course, you are not afraid to ask such questions. Right, a mobile app, very important. Like I said before, the person may be aircraft crew member or maybe working somewhere in the fields, and the mobile app is important because some employees never have access to the computer. Right, how this works in Lanteria HR. Yeah, before we get inside of Linteria, I will just say a few words about the general principles. So first of all, self-services in Linteria HR, we've got a package of, I would say, by default, self-service portals. Most often I use the HR managers access, team managers, employees, and sometimes local HRs. Local HR has the same access as the HR, just that local HR is limited to some country, location, cost center, whatever. And there is a global HR who can have access to everything. Inside of Linteria, we have more types of user roles. If I'm not mistaken, those would be performance manager, training manager, maybe like recruiter, compensation manager, and so on. But anyway, Linteria provides the standard tools for building custom type of user roles. Personal login and password. So each user of Linteria has the personal login and password. If the user has the Office 365 account, that is a great advantage. So I can get into my Office 365 account, and then there I will see the Linteria button, by clicking which I will get into my Linteria account without a double login. If I'm not only performing the employees' activities, but I'm also the team manager, I will have access to both of my profiles using the same login or the same Office 365 account. So when I'm the manager, I log in as a manager and automatically log in as an employee, because actually I'm managing somebody, but I'm an employee in this company. Right, let's open Lanteria HR itself and see briefly how the, let me say this, how the ideal self-service may look like. Well, first of all, I talked about different self-services. By default on my site, I'm using the HRs, managers, and employees. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go, employees. Right, so the HR self-service, HR self-service is the largest one. So the HR normally has the access to absolutely everything inside of the company. And except for if you are a local HR and you can only access people in your country or location or cost center and so on and so forth. There are certain functions you can see here on the top menu, and there is a dashboard with different reporting. So basically, the HR will be the HR and the employee, because even if I'm the global HR, I'm still employed by the company, right? So normally I will have 2 buttons in my interface, HR and employee. Go into the manager side of things. So just 1 small second. There we go. So as a manager, normally I will have the access only to the people whom I manage directly. They may be in my team. So if I'm the manager of a, I don't know, for example, sales team London, then all employees in the sales team London will be my subordinates. So I will see their details. In addition to that, I can be set as a manager for some people in different cost centers and locations. In that case, I will also see the details of those people. Anyway, I see certain options in my interface, my team details, attendance, performance, my team learning, my recruiting. That's in case I need some job openings for my department, and reports. Each employee will have a dashboard. Normally, you may have a scope of tasks located in different modules. For example, you may have active performance reviews waiting for your attention. You may have some pending training requests. You may have some HR process-related tasks, and many, many other things. Of course, they will be placed in each module over here. But in addition to that, you will be able to have all the tasks collected in the list called tasks requiring my action. Announcements, remember I told you, for example, tomorrow in the office building, there will be no electricity because of the repairs. So please work from home, everybody. So the announcements will be over here. Congratulations, like birthdays, and feedbacks. By the way, in the system, people can share their opinion about each other, and they can request opinion from their colleagues. Right. What relates to the employee? Let's get inside of the employee's self-service. This is the one I use the most because in Linteria, my role is the employee, right? And what we see over here, the picture looks quite similar to what we have seen in the manager's interface, but let's look closely. As a manager, I was able to see my team details, my team attendance, my team performance, my team performance, my team learning, and so on. So everything was my team. As an employee, I can only see mine. So basically, I'm limited to seeing my information. I can see the business card titles of my colleagues, but that's pretty much it. I can see the job role, I can see the contact email, but I cannot see too much more details. Similar to the manager, I also have all the tasks required in my action, all my announcements, congratulations, feedbacks given to me or those that I have given to my colleagues, just like that. Basically, if I have any actions that I have to complete, like part of the HR process, remember I told you about the situation when I have to like set up a new laptop for the new employee in the team or order a uniform, those tasks will be here and in the previous view called tasks requiring my action. So as I said, every module may have its separate list of tasks, but they also will be collected over here on the first page of my self-service, pretty much like that. What else I would like to say is that personally, I love how our system allows me to choose two different interfaces where I can operate. First of all, if I want, I can operate from under this kind of an interface looking like a web page. But if I want, I can go over here and manage my details through the pop-out window. It's like, what is better for myself? I personally like doing it from here. I mean, requesting absences, maybe participating in the HR processes, seeing my performance reviews, and so on. Again, wherever I update some data over here, or maybe I do it over here because I can go here into performance and I can go here into performance. The system will save it into the same database. So there is no need for me to update something here and then go and update the same things over here. No, it's all in the same database and will be updated absolutely automatically. What I told about the online help, we have it. So if I click on this button, I will be redirected to the next page where I will be able to find any action using the keyword, like I said, how to start the performance review or how to book a sickness, or I can ask simple questions directly inside of the Linteria chatbot, just like that. Right, talking about assigning the roles or access permissions to the employees in Linteria, that is very simple. If you've got a new user who should be a manager, we've got groups. So that person can be added into the group and automatically that person will receive the permission that relates to that group. For example, if that is a group of managers, the person will get all the permissions of the manager. If that person is the employee, but now is promoted to the HR, we can go and quickly add that employee into the group of HRs. The employee can be in different groups at the same time. So adding more permissions is very fast, very simple. I would say very well automated inside of Linteria. And just one more thing that I would like to show you in inside of Linteria. We've got this very nice tool called HR Help Desk. Basically, that's the tool that allows to request any assistance. I can submit my ticket with the name, description. I can provide its priority. Do I need it to be resolved very soon, or maybe I can wait? And by when, by the way, I can also put the due date. Let's say that until the next Thursday. Then I will select the category. And what's the main thing about this one? The company can configure a number of tickets categories. That will mean that behind each category, you may have a specific dedicated person managing issues related to that category. If there is nobody specified, then the question of the employee or the ticket will first be sent to the HR, and then the HR will manually define who should be responsible. Otherwise, if you already have configured that, for example, Tanya Coleman responds to all the payroll related questions. In that case, when the any employee submits the ticket using this category, then Tanya Coleman will be automatically assigned. The ticket will be open, new, responsible, assigned, in progress, and closed. So very nice feature for the immediate or almost immediate helping our employees. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's how it works in Lanteria. Quite flexible. I find it really well built in terms of the user experience. Let's return back into the presentation and say a couple more words. Oh no. That's the disaster where I was. How this works in Lanteria HR, Lanteria itself. Okay. Related to our customers, by the way, if I start from the beginning, don't be angry at me. I will have to do it like that. What is important? Lanteria HR, Linteria. Yeah, okay, seems to be the one. How our customers use self-services, top features. Well, first of all, our customers use the HR processes automation. Almost every company in the world uses the onboarding and offboarding, right? Because people come and go. So basically, the great thing about Linteria is that it is possible to set up the default workflow, identify which roles are responsible for different tasks. For example, when the new person joins the team, like I said, somebody will be responsible for the laptop. Somebody will be responsible for the uniform. Somebody will be responsible for the instructional training, getting the signed contract, and so on and so forth. Inside of the system, you can easily build a standard workflow like that, identify the responsible employees or responsible roles, and then based on this, the system will be automatically finding the right responsible people each time you launch the onboarding process. Right, so all the responsible people will get the notifications and will be able to complete their tasks through their self-services. So I would say that maybe 99.9% of our customers use the HR processes automation. Help desk, this is the tool that we have just seen where employees can submit their tickets with the priority, with the date until they want the response, with all those categories. So the great thing about the help desk is that it allows tracking the communication between the employee and between that person who should have helped this employee. So even if the communication contains 20 messages, that all will be tracked. So the history of resolving the certain ticket. Pending tasks, like I've shown you, there may be different tasks in different modules, but also on the front page of employees self-service, there is a list of all tasks requiring the action. So many of our customers are using this. And approval requests. This is also important, not only in terms of requesting and approving the job openings, but also, for example, some manager needs to request 10 new computers for the department, and somebody in the company is entitled to approve these expenses. So this is also quite widely used. Right. How our clients benefit from using the self-services? Let's talk about the key figures. On your screen, you can see the quotes or results that our customers have shared with us. You can see that OSM are speaking that 95% of the HR related issues are now being resolved through the self-services, not, I would say, elsewhere where you later cannot find the history of the communication, but through the self-services. The staff absence tracking efforts were reduced by 20% according to Save the Children. Onboarding of a new staff now requires 75% less involvement. Like I said, you can completely automate it, preparing the template of the onboarding process, which will already have the logic of reminders, who should be responsible for which step and anything like that. So each time when you have a new employee, you don't have to sit and again design a new onboarding process from scratch for that employee. And according to Lufthansa, the automated HR processes increased planning quality by 90%. All right, that's pretty much it. So let's move to the next one. Finally, we're here. Questions. I can see that there are 2 in the chat. Let's check it out. What is in there? Oh, yes, this is what we have already replied to. The video will be recorded and will be shared with you, hopefully today. Any other questions, please? Feel free to ask. We will be happy to answer. Nobody, no questions. All right, then. Yeah, then I would like to thank you for your time. And anyway, you will get the record and feel free to contact us. Sorry, no, we are still here. Does the time and attendance only based on the projects? No, actually, our time and attendance is designed for managing 2 main directions. First, any types of leaves, such as holidays, business trips, maternity, some specific local leaves, like, I don't know, some religious types of leaves, sicknesses, for example, and so on and so forth. And there is another direction, which we call timesheets. The timesheets specifically are designed for the employees to be able, like, to track all their daily activities. And later you can run reports to see how much time people invest into work, into billable activities, not non-billable activities. For example, I can record this webinar as one of my activities. For example, I've spent 45 minutes today doing the webinar. So 2 main directions: absences and timesheet and project management. Right. Very good question. Any other questions, please? Can we use it as a regular clock in and out creating projects? I would say yes and no. You can clock in the project. So for example, I've started a demo, right? And I can clock in. And then when I'm done with the demo, I will clock out. The system will automatically calculate the start time, end time, and full time. But if talking about the clock in the understanding of you are in the office, you clock in, you are out of the office, you clock out. By default, we don't do that. For that, we at least need a provider of biometric devices, if I can call it like that, where you could swipe your card or maybe use your fingerprint. That system will track the time when you arrived into the office, and then it can communicate such time to Linteria. So that is possible, but that requires customization. So project clocking is available out of the box. Office clock-in requires some additional efforts, but still is possible, of course. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions, please? Feel free to ask. Don't be shy. We would want a customization. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's possible, of course. I think that we even have a package of maybe a few solutions with which we have already integrated. The one that I can recall was probably called Easy Clock or Easy Clocking, right? But anyway, we can literally connect to any system. The principle is that the biometric device, it sends your arrival time and departure time to a certain database, and then there is a script that allows Linteria to automatically extract the arrival time and departure time from that database inside of Linteria. The thing is that we don't sell such biometric devices. I think they are called biometric kiosks probably. But anyway, that's a separate solution with which we, of course, can integrate, right? Oh, good question. Any other questions, please? Feel free to ask. Happy to help. Happy to respond.
I think we can end the webinar, honestly.
Okay.
We just
Okay.
if people would have any other questions, feel free to write to the email
Here.
address. Yeah,
Right,
here
right.
or your personal email address. I can type it in chat.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, wherever you are located, you will just send your message, for example, over here, and the system will automatically like connect you to the right person. Like I said, we have offices in different parts of the world, and you are from Northern America, or you are from Southern America, or Europe, or Middle East, or Australia, or New Zealand. So your message will be shared with the right person. Right. And then that's no, that's the odd letter. Don't look here. That's wrong. That's wrong. It should be fixed. Let's return to the first screen. My correct email address is this one over here. So there is no letter K.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
No problem. That's no problem. That's no problem. All right, fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. And I wish you good
Thank you,
morning,
Alexei.
evening, whatever. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.